Hello everybody and welcome back to another quick review. Today we are reviewing Sonic the Hedgehog. And again, I'm joined by a special guest, Tom. He's appeared on the channel a couple of times now. How are you doing, Tom?
I'm alright. Might as well not be a guest anymore. I'm just a regular basis.
No, you're a guest. Know your place, mate.
Gotta go fast.
Gotta go to hell. So, Sonic the Hedgehog, eh? First of all, what were you expecting?
I think the best way to sum this film up is the meme that Jim Carrey is now of I'm not surprised. I was surprised, but I was expecting to be surprised, so technically it doesn't count.
Surprised about what? Jim Carrey?
Just that shit.
Oh, okay.
I was expecting I was surprised how bad it was, but it was not bad in the places I thought it was going to be bad.
We'll get on to the review.
This fucking film.
But I'll talk about my expectations first. I suppose, actually, I was quite optimistic, foolishly. There were some good reviews going around, really. I think you said it had a 2.9 on Letterboxd.
Once we left.
We didn't check before, just in case it influenced us at all. But I'd seen some relatively, not good scores, but better than average scores from, I think it had like a 4.5 on Rotten Tomatoes or some bullshit. I know Rotten Tomatoes does percentages, but the audience reviews were a lot higher than you probably expected. But yeah, for me, it didn't live up to those optimistic expectations. I think by the way you're shaking your head, you'd probably agree.
Yeah. Did you have what I call the "oh fuck off" moment?
Well, tell me the scene it happened in, and maybe I did. There will be spoilers before we get into it. If you care about Sonic the Hedgehog being spoiled, go to the cinema, waste your £5 movie ticket, and go watch it. Otherwise, you can get it spoiled by us, which is free and pretty much more entertaining.
Yeah. I got my "oh just fuck off" moment when Sonic flossed.
Oh yeah, he flossed more than once though.
That's
a huge spoiler for the film.
Yeah. After he defeats the first robot, he goes, "Oh, I won. Better do a boogie down competition. I'll floss." And then he does it at the end for no reason either.
Oh yeah.
That's what kids want, and that's what kids find cool is Fortnite. So put it in, even though Fortnite's already not popular anymore.
I think you have to preface this with that it was quite blatantly not made for.
Oh yeah,
for people it's made for children.
Yeah,
and that was kind of.
But I don't get that. You're saying like, oh, it's made for children, but it's to cash in on the nostalgia of adults.
I know, but it's
so
you get two audiences, don't you?
Who's this film for? Is it for the adults you're trying to cash in for the nostalgia, or is it for kids that just see, oh, cool, big hedgehog, he's in games?
This is definitely for kids, but there's definitely some like meme moments, like when
Easter eggs or
the
Sonic.
Yeah, the drawing of Sonic the Hedgehog,
and that the crazy guy actually did. There's the conspiracy theorist person in the small town that he lives in called Green Hills, which, Green Hill Zone.
Of course, yeah.
So he was like, oh, there's a blue demon that lives in the forest. Here's a drawing of him, and it's Sonic. So
yeah,
that to be honest, that like I'd say the opening, that moment at the first, I was like, oh, this is okay. It's a bit of a fun. I was thinking, I'll be honest, for the opening part, apart from the weird, like, let's give him this deep lore now.
Yeah, that was quite strange. I don't think I've ever seen an owl in Sonic.
Well, I don't know. Like, I've never been like. Did you play Sonic games growing up?
A little bit, not religiously, like probably the traditional audience of Sonic the Hedgehog would have.
Yeah, like
just a little bit.
I played Sonic Heroes, Sonic Racers, Sonic Hero. Oh, I've mentioned that already. Sonic Unleashed. The one where he's a werewolf.
Yeah, I had that on the Nintendo Wii as well.
I had that on Xbox 360.
Loser.
So yeah, I also played Sonic Shadow the Hedgehog. The one with guns.
Yeah.
Sonic
black and red one. Black and red Sonic.
Yeah. The coolest Sonic because he has jets in his shoes.
the film for me, it was kind of like a montage, wasn't it? It was the scenes.
Yeah.
It was a scene in which Sonic could do something cool, like the Quicksilver X-Men scene, which they blatantly ripped off.
Yeah.
But you would do that, really.
Yeah.
If you were doing a slow motion film, that's kind of the go-to nowadays. But it felt like a sequence where they'd make a bad decision, or Sonic, and then it would lead to Sonic doing something cool, and then it would get on to the next scene. It was kind of a bit like that, and all the characters, they kind of have the same kind of tone of voice where they would do something and then say something witty or funny and funny.
Like, oh, you're annoying, but aren't you just so lovable, you scamp?
Exactly.
Like, do you ever notice the reused assets? They would just replace what was in his hands.
What bits?
For animations, like, I'm pretty sure they were like really proud of that floss. So they'd be like, they just green screened him into another thing so they could reuse the same animation with flossing. I'm pretty sure it was the same camera angle and everything. And then also they have this weird thing where he'd be in 3 places at once and there'd be a blur between them all. In the center. They'd use that probably about 3 times. So I'm pretty sure it's the same animation, but they just change what's in his hands and whatever.
Yeah.
So I did notice, like, for a lot of money that you reused like quite a few animations.
Well, we need to talk about it really, because the whole shebang about Sonic the Hedgehog is the way they kind of remade it after everyone was upset of the way that Sonic looked. I don't think Sonic looks particularly bad in this film, but he definitely doesn't look fantastic.
Well, do you have the image of what Sonic originally looked like in your head?
Yeah, his teeth and he's got quite human features. Well, he had quite human features. But there was some weird stuff like that Sonic had because there was a scene where Dr. Robotnik stole Sonic's hedgehog needles. That his hair was made up of these individual hedgehog needles, which it didn't look quite convincing, and like the robots don't look very good when they're up against some real kind of natural backdrops, like the forest when the robots are floating through there. It doesn't look great.
Like, I've got up it was worse than I remember.
Oh yeah, it's a lot.
I've just got up the image of the original Sonic design. Oh wow! I
think it's bad compared to what we got. But I don't think it's much.
For me,
worse.
It's his eyes. His really beady eyes is what got me. Is what I'm there thinking, like, it's just got these little soul piercing eyes. It's looking right into your soul and telling you, kill your parents or something. The devil spawn of Sonic. That's
the eyes are much narrower, aren't they? And it's got actual. They tried to make it look like an actual hedgehog, which is Sonic is barely a hedgehog. So.
Where do you think Baby Sonic? For the opening, you see Sonic as a child.
Yeah.
Where do you think Baby Sonic ranks against Baby Groot,
It's awful.
Baby Rick?
No, it's awful. It's irritating. I've had enough of babies.
It was just like I was there thinking, like, oh, why? I feel like the way how this opening almost didn't feel attached to the rest of the film because it had no impact on the rest of the film.
No, not really.
It almost felt like they're like, baby things are really popular nowadays. Maybe while we're doing this re-edit, should we do a quick an intro with Baby Sonic? Because then the amount of time it skips as well.
So he'd been living in
his actual home,
his cave for 10 years or something.
Yeah, it feels like this opening to have an excuse for him to be in this world, rather than having him at the age he is come into this world and then carrying that story on. It's like, like, oh, is he going to be followed? Don't worry, it's 10 years later, so none of that actual opening has that much impact.
Yeah, none of those characters reoccur or anything like that.
No, not the weird tribal Sonics.
Yeah, they look like Sonic, didn't they?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a Sonic into the Sonic verse. It's going to be a sequel.
Like, I'm assuming people who follow the Sonic lore, like, maybe it's due to the comics, because I don't know if you know, but there is like vast laws of Sonic with comics and everything, and books.
Well, it's interesting to talk about comics because I was thinking throughout the film, Jim Carrey as Dr. Robotnik, as a villain, he's just not likable at all. Like it's a quality of a villain not to like them, but to be unlikable, like Thanos, he's a likable character.
Yeah, you understand his sort of
The Joker.
morality. Yeah,
He's interesting to watch. But Jim Carrey, every not every scene, but most scenes he was on screen, I was just a bit. It just annoyed me because he's not a very nice
person.
Yeah, the character's just not.
It was
at all,
like a
has a redeeming quality.
Caricature of what kids think a villain is.
Yeah,
like a scientist.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thing is, though, I think for me he was the best part.
Quite possibly. He had the best performance for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think the Sonic voice actor was awful either. I
Oh,
don't know
no.
his name. I can't remember.
I think for him the scripting was the issue.
Yeah, there was
like bipolar Sonic. What do you think of that?
Yeah, it's ridiculous when he talks to himself. But there isn't enough of a gap for him to talk to himself, so you can't distinguish whether he's talking to himself or he's just saying different lines in one.
You've got this thing of like something will happen, and rather than having an internal monologue and showing through features, it goes, "Oh no, they're near. I best go away and find somewhere else." And it's like, just show us.
It's very literal dialogue, isn't it? It's very every scene is exposition, like, but your family have been in the police for 50 years. How can you leave? Stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like, are you sure you just like when I was going through medical school to be a doctor,
a
vet
who has a gun
to
kill bears.
No, it was a tranquilizer gun for bears so they could
The
heal
vets
them.
don't deal with bears.
I know, that's what I was thinking. It's like the park ranger will deal with the tranquilizer gun.
She has a tranquilizer gun in her kitchen drawer.
Yeah.
So he can shoot Sonic conveniently.
And I was just thinking like, just like so much. It's like, again, you can tell that's where the kids are for.
Yeah,
but then it's just, but it's insulting to kids. Like, you've got like things like Adventure Time that appeal to kids, and they have like a running narrative, and they don't constantly go, "He's the Lich King. He was in episode 52. Do you remember that, kids?" Just things like that. It's like, you've got so many things like Steven Universe. That's like a kids show, but it doesn't paint everything out. It treats kids with respect to understand that they're not going to forget something 5 minutes later.
But the thing is, the cinema was packed with kids, and it did seem like they were enjoying it.
Yeah, and they pissed me off.
Yeah, munching in my earlobes.
One of them kept kicking my chair.
There should be a rule where you can kick kids back in the cinema.
Kick them, they kick your chair, kick them in the face.
But we were kind of expecting that, weren't we?
I weren't going to be like. That's why I didn't say anything to any of the parents, because I thought they're just the kids being kids.
Yeah, and when I was watching it, I was like, I fucking hate this film, and then the kids were laughing, and I was like, you know what? It's not made for me. I'll kind of appreciate it as if I had about 2 brain cells and could appreciate it.
But I'm pretty sure like kids aren't going to leave that cinema and go. They're not going to be like, oh yeah, I really like Sonic. Like when I growing up, I really loved dinosaurs, and I was massively in the Land Before Time films.
You were in them.
Massively into them.
You said in them.
Yeah, I was in them. I was there.
You played the dinosaur.
You better Photoshop a picture of me into Land Before Time now, just like.
Oh, that's effort. Let's see if it's done.
Yeah, and just like I was watching. I'm just thinking like, I don't remember the A Land Before Time or anything like that being like, we have to go here because there, and
I'm sure it might if you rewatch it. It might do that, and I think that's kind of a quality of a kids film that you might have expected before we had kind of gone to this place where films have narratives that stretch across 20 different films. And a lot of films now have a post-credit scene like this one did. They always set out to set up another film. They had 2 post-credit scenes.
You had one where Jim Carrey's shown as properly Dr. Eggman now.
He's got a bald head. He just needs to get a bit fatter.
Yeah. I don't know how he's going to get that fat eating mushrooms and getting off his tits, seeing things.
I'm sure he will.
And then you had Miles Per Hour turn up.
Yep. Tails, if you didn't know, that's his real name. Which I didn't really care about, but the voice actor sounded good. It sounded like, because I watched the Sonic TV show ages ago when I was about 5. And it reminded me, it had a nostalgia feel, whoever that voice actor is. It sounded like the woman who plays Bart Simpson. Oh, yeah. I don't know if it's the same person.
For me, it was always Sonic Underground, which has none of the characters from any other Sonic game, I don't think. It was all completely original thing, just the only person that was real normal was Sonic, and he has musical instruments that he would use to fight robots.
I'll look it up and put it in the background of this
No,
video.
the intro to Sonic Underground, top-notch intro. Listen to that.
I'll put a link to that or something in the description if I can be bothered. But yeah, is there anything you liked about this film?
Jim Carrey's performance.
Yeah?
And to be fair, the slow motion sequences actually did look quite nice. The one in the bar when you'd see like drinks in the air and things like that. And I think like the way they did incorporate Sonic into the scenes, you did feel like he was there.
Yeah.
Like it's not like Who Framed Roger Rabbit's levels of good, but it's not like like. I feel like it's. Have you ever heard of the Woody Woodpecker film?
Yes.
It's not on that level, and that's what I thought. Possibly looking at the animation style, looking at what he was doing, it almost felt on that level, and it's just like one step above it, and that was all okay. I wouldn't say it's amazing, but the way he never felt like, oh, he's not there.
Yeah, the Sonic character, it didn't look. I don't know what I'd expect it to look, because obviously they've gone from a level of cartoon to real life, and they've kind of hit the middle. And maybe they went more towards the cartoon when they
heard all the backlash.
Yeah, and they got a bit of backlash. And I think fair play to them. I'm not sure many studios would redesign it, and I'm sure it'll be a relative success in the box office because it was a packed out cinema full of children, more than Birds of Prey, for example.
Yeah, which is a shame, really.
But yeah, I never felt convinced by the Sonic. Not that I should really. But I know what you mean by the Woody Woodpecker comparison, because that's just kind of like shoehorned in a bit.
Like they would just do one shot and then they do that thing that like YouTubers do, where they punch in digitally rather than actually doing a different camera angle, which Sonic did do. They had planned out how he was going to move within sequences. I'd say they didn't just do it in post and think, let's just do it there and set up this way. They did actually like plan out how he was going to move in shots and how he was going to affect the environment, so they knew how to shoot that to support that, which helps.
Absolutely, yeah.
Is there anything you liked?
Fuck me. I found it genuinely quite a painful experience. And I don't usually say this about films, especially films that are in the cinema, but I probably wouldn't have made it through the whole film if we weren't doing a review. Yeah,
I probably would have walked out.
I would have walked out probably at the point where they went into the bar, and even though they're getting chased by a robot man, but he allows him an hour in the bar. It's just some illogical decisions, and all it was just sequences of stupid character decisions, and characters that I wasn't really invested in. They're just like kind of, apart from Sonic and Dr. Robotnik, they're just character. They're a character. They have a quality which is a job.
Yeah, like they're he's a cop, so he's good.
Yeah,
he's a small town cop. It weren't like he's a small town. It was the main character for like the main human character was the idea was like he's a cop of a small town. He was branded a terrorist.
Yeah.
And no one, like we've watched Queen and Slim recently, which I hate comparing Queen and Slim, which is a well-made film. Like as I said in the Oscars debate, I had my problems with it, but it was still a well-made film. It's sad that because it's I have to compare it to these two, but they did like they killed a cop. This guy's being branded a terrorist and no one recognises him.
Yeah.
Whereas they killed one cop and everyone recognised them, even though they changed their physical appearance massively.
That kind of stuff you just have to take on the chin and appreciate. It's pretty set in a separate universe for children, a children's universe.
Where terrorists can walk the street.
Yeah. For example, when the government guy, who I'm not quite sure who he was, the president?
He was just like
the mayor?
Minister of Defence?
Yeah, whatever. He said, there's only one guy for the job. The crazy man with robots. And everyone's like, no way, you can't use him. Are you mad? He's like, he's our only hope. But they didn't know what the fuck had happened. It's just there'd been an explosion.
Yeah, and
it's like we're under attack.
Do you know about Adurpistan? And it's like, no, exactly because of him. And his robots. How did his robots do that? You can't catch one fucking hedgehog.
that character is so irritating as well. Jim
And
Carrey.
he comes back at the end and it's like, here's a thing to Olive Garden, totally not product placement.
Yep.
Have you tried their? Hey kids, have you tried their
Pasta? Have you tried that pasta?
That's fucking on the level. Just try their pasta. Only if you live in the US. I'm pretty sure Olive Garden doesn't exist
Yeah.
here.
I was just quite angry about the pasta.
You were he's very passionate about pasta. It was like there was weird product placement. I was surprised there weren't more Sega references. To, like,
Yeah,
other
like I thought them.
properties.
Yeah.
Especially with the opening where you saw like all at fucking
Yeah, because they're clearly trying to make a Sega cinematic universe or something. Because even the intro just looked like Marvel Studios.
Yeah, like next we're going to be having the fucking Monkey Ball Island movie.
Oh my god! Can you imagine the Monkey Ball, Super Monkey Ball?
A new Mario movie is slated for 2022.
Like the same kind of thing. It's Mario in the real world. Or...
Thing is, though, can you imagine Danny DeVito playing Mario, and he's supposed to be like 30?
Is that a true cast?
No, I'm just saying.
That'd be good.
In the original idea for who they were going to get to play Mario in the Mario movie that they did.
Well, the Mario voice actor's still alive, so just use him. Unless they want to give him actual lines, but other than Super Mario.
I was more thinking of
a live action.
Yeah. Like they did last time.
With a bit of a cult
really
following.
That movie. Do you think this breaks the trend of bad video game movies? Equal bad?
No, this is quite a bad film. Which is a shame, really, because it could have some potential.
The last film we saw that was similar was Detective Pikachu.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I would say Detective Pikachu, that's a kids' film. It was. I never got pissed off at Detective Pikachu. This film annoyed me. This film made me angry.
Yeah,
at times.
There's equally elements you could point out in both those films.
I don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in Detective Pikachu, you had Pikachu and
you had other characters, so it didn't look like Sonic was out of place.
No.
If there was other Sonic characters, it might look a bit more convincing. Because imagine Detective Pikachu, but just a Pikachu.
Yeah,
it wouldn't
really
work because it's not in the world.
Whereas humans do exist in the Sonic world.
Yeah.
Because Dr. Eggman exists. You've got,
I don't know what the law is. Was he always on Earth and Sonic just came to Earth? Because that's not the law.
Well, Dr. Eggman, Dr. Robotnik is the son of Dr. Eggman, I think.
Really?
Or the grandson. Like Dr. Eggman and Dr. Robotnik aren't the same people.
Oh, I'm a massive racist for white fat bald man.
I'm pretty sure I'm not. This is Sonic law, and it changes so much from what I hear. And it's Sonic. Who the fuck cares? So you have to do something almost like this to change it. Like you can't do. You can do with a series in Pokemon, but you couldn't do it in the film where, they just. I think maybe Pokemon's the exception where you do have. Because the series proved it, but you have characters along the way. It's not just here's Ash. He wants to be a Pokemon master, but he has to. But he's
his rings get taken, so he has to go to San Francisco.
Yeah, Ash's ring gets taken. So it got absolutely smashed by Rock.
He's 10 years old. Behave yourself.
Tell the internet that.
Yeah, this film didn't really offer anything outrageously new. It didn't offer anything new, really.
It didn't offer anything.
No, it was just kind of like it's something you could miss in a cinema. That'd be my kind of tagline. But it was interesting to see. It's kind of like I feel like this film is kind of like how do I say it? Like something you need to watch because of the backlash. Maybe it will set a precedent in the future. Maybe we'll look back on this film and see it as much more positively because of the kind of hard work that went into changing it. But
I feel like we're getting there. I feel like we're starting to get there. We've had Detective Pikachu, which is like 2 steps forward with video game movies. Then we've had Sonic, which is like 1 step back.
I don't think Detective Pikachu was that good. I think Detective Pikachu was a step back as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I just don't think. I think the whole arrangement of that film is. It's just hard to imagine a world where I'd want to watch another Pokemon movie. That was kind of a gimmick, and now I can say I've watched it. Same with Sonic. I'm not going to watch Sonic and Tails,
No.
the Hedgehog,
Unless
whatever.
this does well, and then we'll have to do another one.
Yeah, I suppose. But yeah, it just doesn't. This kind of universe and these kind of stories don't really inspire me or entice me to keep watching. I think that's probably the problem with Birds of Prey. We'll probably watch Birds of Prey, but I just don't think cinema goers are prepared to embrace like another team up movie or whatever. They've seen it all now. Avengers has kind of put that in the mud, and I think even if Guardians of the Galaxy came out today and it hadn't had the other films, I think it would flop. Just because everyone's kind of sick of that formula now.
Yeah, like we're attached to the characters for Guardians of the Galaxy, so another one coming out, people are going to go see it just because they want to see the story
But
continue.
if it hadn't existed, I don't think people would see it.
Like Birds of Prey, I just saw the trailer and just thought I just cannot be arsed with it.
I think we'll watch that. We'll probably get Charlie in to review it with us, but we'll that's for another video, I guess, that discussion.
Yeah.
Should we wrap it all up now?
Yeah.
I'll start with you because I imagine our review will probably be quite similar, but we'll see who's harsher out of both of us. So I'll start with you. Out of 5, what do you think?
About 2.
2.
Just at first it was like in the opening, I thought it could be a bit of free, like not free, but like 2.5 middle of the road type of thing where it's not doing any harm. But then just flossing Sonic just pissed me off so much that I brought it down to a 2.
I'm gonna go for a 1.5. Just because as soon as this film started, I was like, this is gonna piss me off, and it pissed me off. So that's all I can say. If you are a Sonic fan, I can see why this would appeal to you. If you're brain dead, I can see why this appeals to you too. That's quite a harsh review. I'm to take that back. I know people have worked hard on this film, and I appreciate the kind of redesign. But for me, it wasn't a Parasite. Should we say that much?
Yeah. So go from Parasite to this, and then their next review was like, ugh.
Yeah, maybe that's affected it as well because it's had a drop off since reviews. But I think that's all from us. Thank you very much for watching. I'm not sure whether we'll upload this to Spotify, so if you are listening on Spotify, thank you. Hit the subscribe button on Spotify. If you're watching on YouTube, drop us a like, maybe even a cheeky subscribe. We're going for 100 subs. That'd be very nice. Leave a comment if there's any films in cinemas or any films at all that you'd like us to do next. We might do some kind of more reactionary videos rather than reviews. Yeah, thank you very much for watching.